All right, here's the fifth video for this series of 2025 free agent offensive guards for the Miami Dolphins. Again, that's important because that's not how I view the players overall, but this is going to be how I feel they can fit into the Dolphins' existing scheme while also seeing if they can help strengthen some of the shortages that existed in the 2024 Dolphins offensive line. You can see here that I have the rankings so far up on the screen, and we are going to continue to look at play clips from short yardage run plays. So that's going to be scenarios where there's only 1 to 2 yards to go. And the thought process behind that is if a player can succeed in the run game when the pressure is the highest, then they can usually hold their own on a down to down basis as well. And while pass blocking is not the most important thing in Miami's offense, I think you'll find that players that can consistently show up when trying to run the ball in short yardage also tend to hold their own as pass protectors. These are not going to be all good or bad. Just tried to pull some of the clips that I felt were relevant as we're going to talk through them. Not going to be the same number of plays for every player. This video is going to be Mekhi Becton, and he's gotten a lot of attention after moving to guard and becoming part of the Eagles' offensive line, which is one of, if not the best offensive line in football. PFF, I believe, has Becton graded as the 16th best guard in the NFL, which I'm sure has fueled, a lot of the flame for Becton's free agency outlook among fans. I know that from watching him casually and my initial free agency research, I'm not nearly as high on him. So, like we did with the other guards that we've reviewed so far, we're going to review the film and we're going to come back to this slide and we'll figure out where he belongs. Now, Becton is the right guard for the Eagles, which is a change up from the guys that we've looked at before that were all left guards. But the Dolphins need both, so that's not a, you know, issue one way or the other. So as we are looking at the first play here, so this is going to be an outside zone to the right. And as you can see here, the Eagles are not using a traditional combo block, right? Instead, they're having Becton pin that nose tackle or defensive tackle inside, and they're having the center Cam Jurgens pull around. And this is something they did a lot with Jason Kelsey as well. And we've seen the Dolphins do this with both Connor Williams and Aaron Brewer when we look at, some of the guards the Dolphins have had in their offense. So it's not a unheard of thing, but my concern here is that you don't do this unless you have an issue with your guards being able to climb to the next level. So just the fact that the Eagles feel like they need to go to this, um, you know, usually means that they would prefer to have Jurgens climbing, which is fine, right? But I do think that it says something about, how they feel about Becton being able to climb, especially in these short yardage situations. So next play here, Becton on the right side facing towards you. And this is going to be inside zone. And good initial movement here, right? This is a combo between Becton and Jurgens. And then they're going to be climbing to the linebacker here. But the problem is that despite that good, right here, we are good. And obviously, shoving him to the ground is good. But the problem here is that he shoves him so far that he's not able to get back to that linebacker, who is then able to make the play. Moving on, facing you now, still right side. And this is going to be more inside zone running, right? And this is going to be a solo block, right? So this is Becton one-on-one with this defensive tackle. And you can see that, footwork is still an issue with Becton. We're getting a bit of a drop step there, and he never really gets going forward with it. Like you'll sometimes see, if the defenders line up a little further outside there, maybe a little bit of a drop step to set the angle, but he's already on an angle here, and the feet just never get moving. He's not able to create the movement, doesn't play with good leverage there. A guy Becton's size, I think we should have an expectation that he's able to get some movement there at the point of attack if this is the type of guard that you want to look at. Moving along, looking at a clip against the Panthers here. So this is going to be basically quarterback power, right? Same idea as that outside zone one there, that instead of having the combo block up there, right? This might be more of an inside zone, hard to tell, right? It's either power, either center power, or inside zone in terms of blocking. Based on what's happened on the backside there, it looks more like a center power. And if that's the case, then what we would expect Becton to do would be to seal this two-eye technique defensive tackle inside. And as you can see, he never really gets around. You can out here at right tackle, you can see that we've got inside position there. You got the center looping through. We got to have better positioning here by Becton to seal that tackle so that this play can really get downhill. Now we're down the goal line versus the Steelers. And this is going to be inside zone to the left blocking here. Obviously, you have the issues with the snap and handling that. But from Becton's perspective, right, again, he's stepping and not really trying to drive this guy. He looks like he's getting more into a seal, like a backside cutoff technique, but he's not able to really seal that or cut it off. That defensive tackle is still able to fight across his face there. Another one against the Steelers here. And this is going to be outside zone to the left, right? And as you can see there, right, he's got to help the right tackle a little bit, but I think he's got to get more of a, what they call a ricochet technique, where they're using that right hand and really pushing off on an angle there. And you can see that, on the backside, chasing down those linebackers. We've seen this be an issue in Miami as well, right? But not able to use that momentum and get the angle to get to that linebacker who ends up, I mean, Barkley is Barkley and ends up bouncing it and making something out of it. But this definitely didn't go where it was intended to go with the blocking assignments. All right, backs to us again. Right side here. Outside zone to the left. Now, this one was a pretty good job by Becton, right? Backside seal technique. Would like to see him get out of here a little quicker and get that head across, but he doesn't get there, but he's still able to do a decent job of preventing that defensive tackle from continuing to surf down the line, able to slow down the momentum. So don't really have any issues with this block from the backside, even though, could be slightly better. Against the Commanders here. So this is going to be inside zone to the right, and you can see that we've basically got 6-on-6 blocking here, right? So it's going to be solo, solo. You have the combination block from the center and the left guard through the nose up there, and then cutting off and cutting off. From Becton's perspective here, right? Solo block, this is great, right? We are in a good position here. Now he's just got to be able to run his feet and widen him out, but you can see that he is too high. This defender is lower than him, has better hand position, and he's able to slide off that block and, have the tight end not got beaten on the backside And this was going to be Becton's defender still able to extend and shed and get off of this block. A couple more clips here for Becton. And here we're getting inside zone to the left. So this is going to be solo out there, combo here up to this linebacker, and then combo on the backside up to this linebacker. And you can see a little bit better of that ricochet type technique that we talked about earlier, where he's getting the hand on him and kind of pushing off of there to get to the linebacker, right? But then he gets up to that next level and is not able to sink his hips and attach to that linebacker. And then last one for Becton, again, right side here in the snow. Um, and this was him, right? This is the goal line, right? We're down here at the 2-3 yard line. Becton is pulling around on a long trap, or a power, I guess, because looks like the tight end in motion is the one that's supposed to be kicking out, and Becton should be turning up, right? So I understand that he didn't get the kick out block there, um, but if you're not going to get the kick out block and be the fixer there, then you still got to be able to get the guy that you were supposed to turn up and get. And instead, Becton just runs between the two of them and ends up not blocking either of them. So that's all the film review that we have for Becton. And if you couldn't tell with that, I think you can see after that film review why I'm not the biggest fan of Mekhi Becton, especially in this scheme. I think he's found a good fit. I think he's good enough to be your fifth best offensive lineman. But I also feel like we've already got a couple of guys that can do that. And if we're looking to upgrade the guard position, then we should really have higher expectations for what we're looking to get out of these incoming guards. Um, with that in mind, the other four guards that we have looked at in these videos are all players that I do like. Um, so, updating the rankings here, Mekhi Becton is going to come in at number 5, going to be the lowest ranked guard for me so far in these videos. Um, I just feel like there's not a big improvement from what Becton was in 2024 to what compared to what the Dolphins guards were already. Hope you guys have enjoyed these videos. If you got any suggestions on stuff that you want to see improve, then feel free to leave it in the comments. And just a final reminder here that these rankings, I'm not factoring in projected contracts, background, or injury status. So you told me that I could have Mekhi Becton at $3 million versus Trey Smith at 20, right? That might change those rankings, but that's not what we're trying to do in just this raw rankings. You can find, contract dollars, injury history, all that stuff somewhere else. And if you want to adjust your rankings based on that, then you're free to do that. The rankings that we have here are just trying to look at these players on film and see when these players are on the field, who do I feel is going to best fit the Dolphin system.